What I'm doing. I'm just popping on, popping on. Hey, Declan Joe, popping on. I'm just a popper. Hello, hello, spirit of tarot. Tarot. So, welcome everybody. My dog is freaking out over something. Who knows? She's a freak out kind of dog. That's what she is. She's a Chihuahua. Somebody thought that she was half or something. She could be. I inherited her, so it wasn't my choice of a dog, that's for sure. But she's kind of insane. So welcome. Let's get into this dark faces of the moon. So what's going on? My Instagram has been weird on my computer. It was just flickering all over the place, flick, and then I had to go on to the one on my phone, go on to the app on my phone, and I guess kind of like reset it or accept some like their terms of service. And then come on here. And then, but if I have my IP on my Surfshark, because I use Surfshark, and Surfshark is an IP. It hides your where you are in the world, kind of thing. So, anyways, I have to have it off in order for my Instagram to work on my computer. So weird, just so weird. I don't know what's going on. I was watching the Funky Prepper, one of the guys I watch. Funky Prepper, he's a UK prepper, and his stuff started to go all weird. I was watching Tulsi News, and his stuff started going all weird. It's just weird. Just a lot of weird stuff going on. A lot of weird stuff going on. Yandex is a good one. Really, I've never heard of Yandex. No, wow, cool. Well, I'm signed up for Surfshark for the next 3 years, so it's Surfshark, you know, that I'm using. So good morning, Kathy. I was a few years ago. I was talking about it's called Amoa 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 Moa Moha Amoa Moa Moa Amoa Moa Moa. I get very tongue tied trying to speak Hawaiian, but it was a asteroid. Well, or they thought it was like an asteroid sitting in our atmosphere, and um, under further observation, NASA declared it wasn't. It was a spaceship that was just sort of sitting out there, but it looked like a giant rock. Like it just like it was like a long rocky looking thing, but when it rotated, it had a rotation on it. I don't know, maybe it had solar panels rotated towards the sun. But it came into our atmosphere in around 2019. It was noticed, and that's when the Google computer system started up. Now, the Google system, it's a huge computer system. It's one of the largest computer system. I posted pictures, a few times on YouTube about it. It looks very alien. And all of the towers have to be 6 meters apart. And so this Oumuamua, I think that's how you pronounce it. That's what they declared it as. They're talking about it again in the news of how it might have had some influence on the earth and all kinds of things. And it flew away, I think, in 2020 or something, or maybe 2022. It was there for quite some time. Don't know exactly. But anyways, but it was like almost just in that time frame and everything. And then when that started up, there are other things that started up in our world. So yeah, lots of crazy things that are going on right now. There's just we are in the dark phases. We're coming up to Remembrance Day. We're coming up to Independence Day, which is 248 years, or you can say it is the Pluto cycle of 248 years. So they're coming up to that on July the 4th. And then we have Neptune going retrograde, the dark phases of the moon. The moon is in Gemini. We're all looking for some kind of clarity. We want clarity, we want, give it to me. I need to know it. And we're trying to find it. And even with Mars finishing up its opposition with Pluto, this is where it's like it's more of, I feel like, because it's in the dark phases, the dark phases of the moon are more reflective, to get into a reflective stage as we're building to the new moon, which is on Friday. And we might need to sort of take some time to be reflective, take some time to not try and push things, allow things to naturally flow, come to you, not push against the grain. If you're pushing against the grain, you might find huge pushbacks coming back on you. You might find that things are not working the way you want it to work, not, coming together. You're getting more flustered, overwhelmed with it all. So this is where also a lot of downloads coming in. So a lot of information, a lot of things coming in dreams. So really pay attention to your dreams. I know some of you tell me you don't remember your dreams. The dreams things is like, either keep a journal so when you wake up, so that you just write down a few things that you might have, might come to you, or you might have had a feeling of certain people in your dreams, but you may not know who they are, which is fine, because different, it's like the dream world is a very fascinating place, and it's ruled by Pisces, and it's ruled by Neptune, and Neptune has, now um, coming in, and I feel like there's going to be a lot more water activities, just like it's coming down. So this big rush of water. Hence, we've had so much rain here. It's been crazy. We also have dams that are breaking in the United States. A lot of dams are going, and then Quebec City, I think, had a water main break. Interesting. And we have hurricanes coming into England, which it isn't even hurricane season. So a lot of hurricanes are coming in. I think I mentioned that yesterday. Today, hurricane is hitting Jamaica, and they say it's like one of the worst that they've had in a long time. Rainfall and everything in Trinidad and stuff like that. So a lot of flooding and stuff. So there's a lot of water energy that's out there, that's really flowing out there. So we have a lot of this happening right now. And when you get a lot of emotions, we can get a lot of we can get a lot of emotions. So what comes up with your emotions? What are your emotions? I mean, you could start crying, anger, frustration, anxiety, all of that start flowing up. You could be feeling very overwhelmed. You could have problems with your own water system, right? So the pipes in your home, you could have where you could find all of a sudden that your toilet is running, or your taps are dripping. So different things like that will happen. Oil, it also rules oil and gas. So anything that's liquid, right? So anything that's liquid. So you're going to hear a lot more about oil and gas and the problems with oil and gas at this time. So that's going to be, interesting. And I think this is where we're at. And I was just listening to an astrologer, and he was saying, he doesn't understand why people are so surprised at the shit that happens. And that's true. Like when I go on some of my YouTube and I just said that, I gotta laugh, because it's just like, it's some of it's so crazy and out there and far fetched. And and then some of it's just like, you guys didn't see that coming. You didn't get that. Or when people say, well, I didn't know Biden had dementia, I didn't know that our prime minister's an idiot. Really? Where have you been? Like right now, it's that Trudeau's in hiding. Like Trudeau's not even going to come to the Calgary Stampede. He's not even going to make an appearance. Last year, they had to bring him in through the back under huge security, when he came to Calgary last year. And this is where it's like, no way he's going to step into Calgary. Like he knows there's going to be a huge opposition right now. Um, we know Pierre is going to be here in Calgary. I'm not sure when, but I know he'll probably make an appearance coming in, because Calgary's a huge event. I mean, we get like like we're already 1,000,003 or 1,000,006. I don't know. We got a lot of people that live in Calgary, but with the Stampede, it's even bigger. Like it is the biggest outdoor show, right? Whether you like Stampede or not like Stampede, it's a $1 billion industry. It's an industry that brings in a lot of money to this place. And it's for a lot of restaurants and hotels, um, and other, shopping and everything else. Cowboys boots are being made like crazy. Cowboy hats. People come here and they'll just buy the cowboy boots just for the Stampede, and then they go away. They don't realize that actual cowboys have two cowboy boots, one for working and one for going out. Um, and this is the time, right? So a lot of money comes in. So you're finding that for Trudeau, Mr. Nose Candy Boy, will not be making an appearance, right? Mr. Wacko Nose Candy Boy. Boy, should make some stickers here. Nose Candy Boy. Who's Mr. Nose Candy Boy? Guess who it is? I don't support Nose Candy Boy. Oh boy. But this is where he's not making an appearance. He's not being, and the other part too is like, one of the things, with the Canadian chart and with Justin, I said things are going to start falling apart for him. Things are going to get weird with him, right? But he's not going to let go. He is not going to let go. Did you see him at the Asian? Oh, acting like oh yeah, when he was dancing in the dance. Yeah. There's so many memes, out there. And plus he was in Quebec because he's trying to Quebec's a huge riding, like all of Quebec's a huge riding for them, for the Liberals, right? So he's trying to make a comeback in Quebec. But this is where, with the chart and with his chart and the Canadian chart, there are going to be a lot of things just falling apart, things that aren't working anymore. This is where we are, within the church, a lot of riots, a lot of rebellion, a lot of people coming. This is where I think I said earlier on that, between Canada and Australia, those are the two countries you're going to find a real revolution coming in with this, because people are tired. People are fed up of it, right? So the revolution coming in, you're seeing more of that. You're seeing, or even like, I guess we're in Pride season. What the fuck is Pride season? Like, give me a fucking break. You don't get a fucking season. I don't give a shit. Um, I mean, for me, when Pride started coming out back in the 80s, or I think it was in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and Pride started coming out, I mean, Boy George was a huge thing. It's like, was it a boy? Is it a girl? Not too sure. People were starting to really, even in the 80s, there were they're coming out and saying that it's okay if your children are gay, and started to really promote that kind of narrative, right? Um, this is where, with it's gone to one point of, let's say, when the one couple that started was a gay couple, and when they started gay pride and they started to really promote the gay pride, it wasn't so much of like, let me go expose my, jingle jangle to the world, and do disgusting acts on in front of everybody, but it was, here, I love this person because this is the person I'm attracted to and I'm gay. I'm, committing to that person, and I would like that person to have I've been with that person for X amount of years. I would like him to have my medical. I'd like to be, him to be my beneficiary, things like that, right? That was the whole premise of it, to come in and have, to have those equal rights, and which I totally get, right? But it has gotten to where now it's just a disgusting exhibition. So we're seeing the dismantlement of our society. That's part of it. And that's part of when we're looking at either the United States chart or the Canadian chart, Australian chart, we're seeing, throughout the world, a dismantlement of society. And the dismantlement of society needs, I mean, that's wakes people up. When you're seeing somebody on the streets getting a BJ and then urinating in somebody else's mouth, society has gone crazy. You know that when people say, well, it's pride season and they're loud. No, the morals start to wane away. And when the morals start to wane away, that's when others, then you get, of course, you're going to get the extremists coming out because you get the crazies over here and then you get the other crazies over here. So you got to come together. There's this energy that comes together. It's going to take some time because we got to look at this dismantlement of society has been happening for a long time. And it's not just something that started 4 years ago. I think more of that was the awakening for many people to start looking around saying, "What the fuck?" But this dismantlement goes way back from after World War II. You got the 50s and wanting to have the atomic family, everybody, 2.4 children, yes, and a dog and a cat and a, white picket fence. And then came the 60s, which really became about self-awareness and, my rights as a person and feeling that persecution. And we took that. And then, of course, it goes to the other side. Like, how far do we take those extremes? Right? How far do we take those extremes? We know people have rights. We know that people should be able to be heard, right? We know that there should be religious freedom. In the United States recently, two young girls, what tribe were they from? Just one second, I'm going to pull that up. Boom. When it comes to religious persecution and stuff, it's pretty outlandish. So, where we call ourselves the land of the free, that's what the Americans call themselves, and even in here in Canada, freedom. A trio of Apache girls say they were punished by their school for taking part in a traditional indigenous dance because the teachers described it as demonic. Clash in the street right now. The pro Palestine and the pro Israel groups clash in front of an LA synagogue, sparking heated debate over alleged anti Semitism. And the incident even drew formal commendations, um, co- uh, condemnations from the White House. Um, so we're finding that where, with Native American students being expelled for demonic activity, violent clashes. I mean, just even watching some of the clashes that are happening right now, because you have the pride and then you have the pro Palestine coming together and clashing. Because if you're gay, you're not going to go to Palestine. Just saying. I mean, there's actually more gays in Israel than there is anywhere else. You're not if you're gonna if you're going to be gay, don't go to Palestine. But that you're finding these clashes on the street right now, and so that's all part of that dismantlement. The whole premise and their idea of unity is falling apart. People are starting to witness, people are starting to see, and they're starting to look like say, hey, this doesn't make sense. What are we backing? What's going on here? So now we got a lot of lost wandering souls. And we are going to be witnessing that even more. Now with Neptune going retrograde, then as it, all the way back to November, no, it's going to be later than that, that it starts to go forward again. And when it starts to go forward and it heads back, and in 2025, that's when it goes into Aries. And then it's going to meet up with Saturn. And that's Saturn and Aries together. So that's going to cause again, that's in 2025, 2026. That's going to cause some real tension, right? That's when things are going to start getting really sparky and things starting to get very more explosive than what's happening. So right now it's not to freak out. It's not to like, "Oh my god, what's gonna happen? Am I" It's like, no. Like, I kinda laugh when people really freak out on me, like, they're like, "Oh, Mary, you said!" I'm like, "Yeah, I said," and yeah, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have certain things. Like, you're still for many, you're still gonna have your home, you're still gonna have, your jobs, you're still gonna have certain things. It's gonna be there. Things are just going to change, right? The way that we come together, the way that we are united as humans. And Pluto in Aquarius is going to really activate that. And activate that in a way because what Pluto does, it takes the ugly up front and brings in the ugly. That's what it does. That's what it did for the last 15 years. And we saw and we're witnessing now the whole dismantlement of government, the whole dismantlement, of corporations. Now, corporations aren't going to go away. Corporations have been around since the 1600s, right? The What was that? The trading company. It was one of the biggest corporations that was ever founded. And then we had the Hudson's Bay Company that became a corporation here in Canada. So we've had corporations around for a long time. Corporations ideally are not a bad thing if they are properly structured, right? Like for many of you who own, say, a company, or if you own a farm, I always say farmers should be farmers should have a corporation, you know, and be a corporation so that they are a separate identity than their personal assets, right? I don't know how that all works. It's just something in my head that I think would work. It's may not. I might be totally off the left field with that. But corporations, ideally, when done properly and not trying to manipulate and lobby and try to control, aren't bad. Governments are not bad. It is when they try to manipulate and control and they become demonized and controlled by others, controlled by not from what they came in to do, then, and that's what all of Pluto was trying to show. Is showing the money system. Money isn't bad. Money's not evil. It is the way that money is utilized. It's like anything. If money is utilized for negativity and bad, yeah, it's bad. But when you are able to create something positive with the money, positive with that and the influx of what you want to grow and have, it's a good thing. We need money. Well, I got to watch my wording here, but money is a asset to us in our world that we live in. To have a financial flow is an asset. It always has been. Go back to the biblical times. It was an asset. It was really nice to have a financial flow. When you had that, you're able to grow your crops. You're able to have, you could have more of your own sovereignty. It's all in how you utilize it and work with it, right? It's the currency, exactly, Spirit of Tarot. It is the currency, and having that currency, it's how it's flowing. If you dam it up and you just keep it all dammed up, like the Four of Pentacles, like a lot of times the Four of Pentacles is like, I'm keeping this all to myself, right? You're not allowing for that flow to happen. You're not allowing for things to go forward, right? Then it becomes the Five of Pentacles. So you got the Four of Pentacles and you're holding it, and the Five of Pentacles is all of a sudden, it's like you're distraught, you're out there, you're crippled, you're maimed, you're sick, and you're not seeing the true light that's around you because you get too obsessive. And it's not to be obsessive of this. This is where it's like when you lose that vision, right? You get lazy. And when you get lazy, you start to do stupid shit. So This is when you start to hide away. This is when you start to, go into the darkness. And when you start going into that darkness, when you start going into that hiding away, this is when things are you get the shame, you get the blame, you get the guilt, you get the overwhelmness. This is when you do things that you don't necessarily want to do, and you know that they're bad and they're sinful. And that could it just um could be, I mean, okay, well, good, I can get biblical on you. Um, when David saw Bathsheba, now he could have just walked away and gone had a cold shower. Like, no, but he didn't. He found out she was married, and the poor girl was brought to him, and then she was like, "Oh, well, I guess I gotta do what I gotta do with you, even though I don't want to." And then find out that she's pregnant by him, because it can't be her husband. Her husband is out there, right? Bible study is out there fighting the war for King David, who should have been out there because that's what they were supposed to do. But no, he decided, "Oh, I've done my time. I've worked. I've done everything. I don't need to do this anymore. I can just go have a nap." But in doing that, and he ends up committing adultery, having a child out of wedlock. Well, he eventually did marry her after he killed her husband, like murder, and basically sent a lot of his other men out to be slaughtered, just because he wanted to have a tussle in the hay with a girl who wasn't even, who was actually just doing her thing and having a bath and just not even acknowledging him and not even trying to go forth with him. This is where, and I mean, those are some of the extremes, but when we get to a point where we, within our own lives, and that's where a lot of this astrology is coming in, is saying when we neglect our own self, our own values, our morals, our ideas, and we get lazy, her once a year bath. You're funny. But we can go into some more Bible study because they did bath more than that back then, actually. That was more of when they came to the West and then people were having, or even part of England. But back in those days, they actually had regular baths. So, but but yes, her once a year bath coming out. But this is where we can get, into a place where things get revealed to us. And when things get to revealed with us of the things that we need to start doing, right? So this is mercy, kindness, and coming into that kindness and coming into that mercy, coming into a place where, yeah, this is what I need to start doing. This is where am I dulling my senses? Because that's the other thing is like with what is happening in the world, we can dull our senses. Like parents today, God bless, thank God. I mean, first of all, I would not have taken my child to a gay pride parade. I just would not, right? I would not take my child to a library to have a man dressed up as a woman reading to them unless it was a clown, like an actual clown. It was a clown day, kind of circus day, totally different. That's where you're finding your senses are dulling as a society. Now, a lot of people are going to get pissed off at me. They're not going to like what I'm saying, but that's okay. But that's where responsibility comes in, right? Responsibility of saying no. It might not be easy. And you might be the one sitting there or the one at the school saying, "No, I don't agree with my child being taught by a guy who's wearing fake boobs coming to school and saying, 'I'm a woman now.'" You know, it's not okay. It's not okay. And this is where, because your senses get dulled. And when your senses get dulled, that's when society starts to break down. That's why I brought in David. What happened to David, right? He started to lose everything. He started to lose his kingdom. He ended up hiding in a cave because he knew he did bullshit and hiding away from God. You can't hide from God anyways. Go ahead and try and hide from the universe, from your divine. They're going to find you. They're going to come in knocking. "Hi, I'm here." So this is like, what do we do, with that? And if you want to pull in the S word, and a lot of people say, well, S word is a Christian word. No, it's not. S word goes back to not only the Hawaiians, it goes back to Abraham, it goes back to Moses. It talks about those things that you do wrong. When you do wrong, you can call it wrongful acts, whatever you want, or you can call it for sin. Now, I'm not trying to give you all a big Bible study, but what I'm trying to get you into is looking at what's going to be happening in the world and where you are going to take your stand as humanity, as a human, as a person, and what is right and what is wrong. Some of the things that I saw what was happening on these gay pride parades are actually appalling. Like I just like, I mean, I've seen some crazy fucking shit in my life. Like I am not some prude girl. I've been around the block a few times. I know things, I've seen things, but when things are put out in front of children, this is when you know that fucking society has gone down the drain and that we have to wake up. And you can't be lazy anymore. It's sexualizing everything too much. Yes, absolutely, Candace. Yeah, I don't even want to watch it because I figured it was really bad. Oh, it's fucking bad. Like, I mean, the you never watch it, and he's like, what the fuck? Man, you know, because you just don't do that. There's just some like, and some of it was just
Man pissing in another man's mouth.
Steve was like, man pissing in another man's mouth. That's disgusting. That's just utter disgusting.
Yeah, but if somebody go naked in a baseball field and run, they arrest them.
I don't know if you heard that, but he said if you go naked in a baseball field and running around streaking, you're going to get arrested. But if you go and because you're part of Pride,
You could allow to do
you're allowed to do indecent exposure. Kids don't need to be kids don't get to be kids anymore. Yeah, it's gross. It is gross. And that's part of it. We can go back to the 60s and the development of how we, the self-respect for ourselves and how, mental disorders started to really make a forefront, mental health started to make a forefront on a lot of what children were exposed to, have a huge development on how your children are as adults and how they behave as adults. If it's different if you go into the France and you go to the Parisians and stuff like that. Yeah, they're open about their body, they're open about their sexuality, but it's done in a way that is not profanity. And it's usually done in a way where, oh, mom got out of the bath and went into the bedroom to go get changed kind of thing. It's like, not to be ashamed of your body, definitely not. And it's grooming. It's not to be ashamed of your body, it's to be proud of who you are, to be proud of your body, right? And there's a huge difference, and there's a fine line with that, a very fine line on where you're going to take it, right? And that's where we are right now. We've crossed that line. We've crossed that line where do we live our mission? Where do we live and we say, no, I'm not going to put up with that? Where do we live when we say, no, women do not need to be fucking stoned to death because she didn't cover her fucking face? Like, where do we stand up? Because that's the fine line. For how long did women have to fight for their rights to be able to vote, to be able to have a say, to not be property? And that's the same with many other societies, right? And same with the natives, right? This is where we stand up, because now with Pluto going, and Pluto after November will be full time in Aquarius, we are going to see the underbelly and the deceit and the craziness of humanity, and how humanitarians are going to take things to the fucking extreme. And this is where you're going to be tested, that you don't dull your senses, that you keep yourself strong. And you got to keep your self strong with that of God, and listen to that internal wisdom, however you want to define that for yourself, but listening to that higher wisdom and coming in with mercy and kindness, Mercy is a huge one. And I think that's one of the biggest words that are going to be coming in, and having that mercy. Because when you have that mercy, then you're going to come in with the compassion and the love for one another. And that is where is going to be so important. Eyes wide open, right? Eyes wide open. This is where it's, yeah. Once you see Neptune go into Aries, all of this stuff about transgender, about puberty blockers, and that people are going to be like, oh, what the fuck was that all about? What were we doing? And now we got a whole society, a whole group of people, of children who've been mutilated. That's another mental issue that our society has to go through. That's another part of our society that there's not going to be any children born. And if there's not any children born, then you have another issue brewing. You have another issue that's brewing, and you got to look at where that issue is brewing and what that means to our society. What does that mean to you as your identity? What does that mean to your culture? Right? And it's, and I love it when I see, I mean, of course, I'm married to a black man. My husband's from Trinidad. I love it when I see cultures come together. Right? I love it. But it's also within those cultures and within that you find within the identity and the love of the different cultures and bringing them in. That's the beauty of it. Right? And I think that's what makes Canada unique. That's what makes United States unique. And it's so important that we don't lose that. We don't lose that. We're losing that as Canadian, and they're losing that as Americans. And we start losing that where we say that we're, the Americans, the land of the free. When we say to Canadians that we have freedom, but do we? That comes back into, where do we live our mission? People are going home. Yeah, people are definitely going home. If you talk to somebody from Russia, they call it Mother Russia. Mother Russia, right? So you got to think, Mother Russia. Who do they call the father? Germany, right? Germany's the father. Russia's the mother. There's a heartland there. There's a birthing there, right? The wrong people are going home, I should say. Yeah, the wrong people are going home. But there is a lot of people that are going back to Croatia. They're going back to Hungary. They're going back to, where they thought this was free. They thought this was the freedom, but then they can see they're witnessing everything that happened in their country, right? But the thing is that not only witnessing the corruption of the government, but there's another narrative that's coming in, which has to do with morality, and that how we are losing ourselves in that of what is, I'm going to say, immoral. No, it's hard, but don't say that. It is hard, but we came here. We're all here. All of you beautiful people that follow me and listen to me. And even though that you might think I'm, a crazy nutter, remember that's my new word, nutter. It's that we are the light workers. We're the holders of the light. We're the ones who've come in here to hold that light. We're the ones to bring forth the mission. And sometimes it's hard because we go through a lot of the mental issues and the things like that. And that's why as a community, it's so important to come together. It's so important to be able to talk to one another and have that, right? It's so important. We came to live through this and learn and bring something good from it all. Exactly. I love it when if you've never been to a powwow, go to a powwow. You're welcome. It's great. It's wonderful. The food is good. The people are fabulous, and it's coming together. It's that unity and seeing it and experiencing it, experiencing the dance, experiencing, the community and the way of life that's there. And it's so important. And it's just to have and talk to people. Talk to people. You are the only in my group to talk to. Yeah. and definitely reach out. There's a lot of people here that, um, that are very intuitive, that are well, we're all healers, I feel, in different degrees, in the way that we heal, in the way that we do the things that we do, and what we've come in here to learn. And that's the other part. Coming in here to learn is a big one. And our lessons. And that's why I find, when I'm doing somebody's chart, it's so interesting in doing somebody's chart, because we've all come in here on a different path. We've all come in here in different ways to learn, and then taking in the human design and understanding, being a projector or manifester, generator, etc. It's understanding and learning how to work with that and working with our own energy. And that's part of our mission, right? And sometimes it feels exhausting, sometimes it feels overwhelming, but that's why you're not supposed to do it alone. You're not supposed to do it alone. You're supposed to do it not only with a group and a community of like-minded people, but you're supposed to do it with God. And you're supposed to hand it over to God. You're not supposed to do it alone. If you're trying to do it alone, then it's not going to work, and you're just going to get more fucking frustration and overwhelmness. And that's why it's always coming back to the divine, always coming back to that of the divine. Laugh my ass off. I was thinking this morning that I need to learn to use my chart to better my life. It's hard with this energy since COVID. Yeah. Oh, I agree, Candace. It is very hard. But it just understanding your housing, the housing system in your chart, and where, because you are a Leo, understanding where is Leo in my chart. What does that mean? I mean, right now, we've with Mercury in Leo right now, just did an opposition. I mean, an opposition with Pluto. What is your opposition with Pluto? Where is Pluto in your house? Where is Aquarius? What house is Aquarius in? So those are part of the life lessons and the things, and maybe the challenges and the great joys that are going to be happening for you in this, in understanding your journey in the next coming 20 years. And that transiting of the next 20 years. Next 20 years, I'm going to be 80. So I think by that time, I think it might not be like, I'll be like, fuck it all. And Steve's going to be 88. Woohoo! We're going to be the old people on the block. We are the old people. He says we are the old people. I'm Leo in the 12th house. I need to leave my home so I'm more present and not connecting into people or energy around me. Leo, also, you got to think the 12th house is ruled by Pisces. So it's a spiritual house. You're ruled, that Pisces energy is ruled by Neptune. Neptune is there for you. So that means if that's your 12th house, that means that your first house or your ascendant would probably be Virgo. And yet you're ascending. So there, your ascension is coming into being of service. And what is that you need to be of service of? It's bloody annoying, right? And then you got to think, okay, who rules Virgo? Virgo's ruled by Mercury. Well, Mercury's in your house right now. So Mercury's now trying to communicate and give you downloads on a very spiritual sense, and what that spiritual energy is. And with that being across the way from you is 1 is 7, 2 is 8, 3, 8, 3 is 9. I gotta do this in my head. 4 is 10. 5 is, so across the way is your 6th house. 6th house is Aquarius. So Pluto's in Aquarius. So Aquarius has to do with, is ruled by Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. So now you're coming into learning about the love of relationships and bringing in that balance of relationships into your life. People come with heavy emotions. Yeah. I'm over the gig. But, and then you got to look, so the challenge, I mean, with Pluto being in that opposition of you, looking at that challenge that you're going to be having with relationships. So Pluto's going to come in with a challenge of relationships and how that is within humanity and community that you are setting forth with. And then your 12th house, because your 12th house also has secrets. So there's secrets there that you hold. So what is that? What are those secrets? That you have, or secrets that you're holding of others, or the secrets that you know. A lot of downloads happening. Yeah, I had a crazy somebody said they were attempting to deliver something. I don't know. Were we expecting a delivery? Nope. Scam. So I had just an odd dream last night. Just, it was really bizarre. It was, anyways, the one part that I do remember is that I came out of a store, or came out of a place, and I was wearing a ribbon skirt, which is odd. And the ribbon skirt was it was shiny, it was a bluey color, and I remember a red ribbon around, and I remember a yellow ribbon around, and there might have been another ribbon around. There's like 3 colors, I think, of the ribbon. And the ribbon skirts, I know, are part of First Nation people. I think the Cree and maybe the Blackfoot. I don't know anything really. That's one thing I don't know about ribbon skirts, but they are very they are something that's a very powerful symbol for them. Anyways, my girlfriend came in and told me, yeah, that's a ribbon one. And so I was wearing it. And so there's something profound there that I need to look into, what it means for the ribbon skirts and the understanding of a ribbon skirt. So, because that's not my forte. I'm not with the first, I know a lot of things from the First Nations. I've been trained as a shaman and different things, but my lineage, or my line, goes all the way back, goes to the Celtic and goes to the astrology and to the sky people. Maybe that's where the ribbon, maybe that's why it was blue. I don't know. We'll find out. Women's rights. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So a lot there so magical map shifter. Oh, lots of, yeah. And look, we got a map shifter, because I also see, when I see this and the map shifter, so things are shifting. But with the map shifter, I also see, especially when it comes to borders and that have been drawn up, I see lots of shifting happening, lots of shift. So this is a card arrives. It comes with a mission to make you aware of the people who come into your life and impact your personal growth. Perhaps you may meet a soulmate whose presence invites you to be the best you. Pay attention to those individuals who cross your path and cause you to reflect on your journey. Be awake and aware. Ooh. So Christ consciousness, definitely open borders. So there's something coming in, I think, for us that's going to get us to really shift in our ideas and come more into our self-awareness of who we are. And with that, bringing in a better version. But here we have, this is Ghostlands. Woo. Oh. Anybody want to go on a ghost tour? Ghostlands come in. Reversed. How crazy is that? I'm still learning this deck, even though I've had it for years, because I'm not usually reading oracle cards. So, live one day at a time. Each day is a new beginning filled with truth and beauty. Stay away from the ghostlands of the past and the future. So that's just got like lightning bolts coming into my head. So it's like, because we get our anxiety and everything is built on whatever happened in the past, and then we're worried about the future instead of coming into the now. And as we come into the now, that's when we can connect with so many beautiful people and allow ourselves to come into a transition, right? The train station was so, and coming into I love the train station area. And I was telling my auntie that we aren't all here to awaken. Some people have to come to shock people into their awakening through Candace, 100%. Not everybody is here to be awakened. Some people come in here just to be assholes. You know, and to get you to sort of like, oh my God, that's horrific. Like everybody's coming in on a different mission. Like not everybody comes in here to be this beautiful light worker and beautiful, here I am, I'm a light worker, I'm so pretty, and I do yoga and wear white and eat, and I'm a vegan. No, not everybody's coming in to do that, right? Lexi, I was born into that family. I have my God bless my children. I love them, but not they get it, but some maybe one day they'll figure it all out. But they they get upset when I say things, or they call me a racist, or they they say things. Oh, mom, you can't say that. It's like, well, I am going to say that. But that is part of, here we are, we're coming in on that mission. We're coming in there because this is what we have to do. And then we just have to send love and blessings to those around us and not get caught up in those ghost lands, right? Not going into those areas, right? And staying away from it, because sometimes, you can get lost. And that's where with Neptune is, bringing in the illusions. Don't get caught up in all those crazy illusions, right? Because we need to start cleaning house. You want to start bringing in the positive people within your house, within you got to start cleaning house. Even not only physically, mentally, spiritually, doing the cleaning the house is so important, because that's going to help with the magical shifts. That's going to help you from not going down the crazy pipeline of the past. So cleaning the house, allowing yourself to let things go, and having that freedom, right? And doing that freedom. So have a blessed day. Boundaries, 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 boundaries. So important. Yes, boundaries. But if anybody does want to go on a ghost tour, just let me know, because I wouldn't mind going on. I love doing ghost tours. Just saying. And you don't bring anything home. So don't worry. I do blessings so that you're not bringing any shit home. Because Mr. Tracy doesn't like me bringing shit home. So have a blessed day, everybody. No, we don't want that in this house. That's what he says. Thank you. So sending you out so much love. May the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each one of you, and all that you say and all you be and all you do. Thank you for being a part of my community. Jared says the same thing to you, Candace. I bet. Did you dust off before you come into this house? I don't need that shit in this house. More with a Canadian accent than a Caribbean one, but yeah, definitely. Doesn't need that right now. So sending out the blessings, and have a great one. Definitely, if you want a moon reading, get a hold of me. They're $40. I record it, send it to you. You guys know the drill. I love you all. Have a blessed one, everyone. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.